Hello and welcome to another trip report. This video will be about a local train and all station service that runs between Antwerp and Roosendaal in the Netherlands. So it's an international train, it only has one stop in the Netherlands though. This is actually the cheapest train, especially for when you want to go for a day in the weekend or weekend in general to Antwerp. I'll explain more about these tickets later on in the video. It's not the fastest way unless you live in Roosendaal. It's obviously way faster when you take the intercity train or the Thalys train to the Netherlands. The Thalys can be quite expensive on this route though. So therefore I personally wouldn't take the Thalys on this route. Anyway, in this video I will first show you the beautiful station of Antwerp Central. After that I will show you the, quite simple train that runs on this route. And after that I'll give you some views on this route. When you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. And of course, give me a thumbs up when you like this video. Before we start this video, I want to say this video has been recorded during the COVID-19 pandemic. What means you will see a lot of people wearing face masks, you will see some warning signs everywhere. But I also want this video to be helpful for you when you make the same journey in a couple of years time from now. So in the video I'll just act like there's nothing going on. Of course I followed all the official guidelines, I've worn a face mask where necessary, and of course use some common sense and get distance from other people. Well, let's go back to the video now. This is the entrance of the Zoo of Antwerp. Well, as you know, this video is not about a zoo, so we'll go back to the subject. This is the entrance of the main railway station of Antwerp, Antwerp Central station. In front of the railway station you find a square, and on the square you find a bus stop. Something else you might find here is the entrance to the underground parking garage for bikes, but also this bike sharing program. You'll find quite a lot of these bikes here. And what probably doesn't come as a surprise, you also find e-steps over here. Well, you find these e-steps in more and more cities all over the world, and Antwerp is not an exception when it comes to this. Another thing to get around are these electric e-scooters you can see here. The railway station is pretty close to the city center. It's just a short walk to the city center from here. The architecture, and then especially the interior architecture of Antwerp Central railway station, is just amazing. A great combination of modern and monumental. Antwerp Central station is definitely one of my favorite railway stations. Personally, I don't really feel the need to make a video about the specific train that I'm taking today, but I really wanted to include the railway station of Antwerp as well in one of my videos. So therefore I just made a video on the local train between Antwerp and Roosendaal. By the way, on the side of the railway station you also find bus stops, as you can see here. In the front, from where I'm walking right now, you can see some cars, and this is where you'll find the taxi stand. You can enter the railway station on this side, but also at the front. When you enter the railway station at the front, it's way prettier. So let's go back to the front of the railway station and enter the railway station via there. The first railway station that was built at this place has been built in 1836. The current railway station dates back from 1905 and has been refurbished big time. While the station has been refurbished, all monumental details have been remained, and therefore this place is amazing. This is the main hall of the railway station. I mean, just look at this. I mean, this building, you have to see it yourself. I mean, even if you go to Antwerp and you don't take the train, you should just visit the railway station. In the main hall, at the point that's right in front of me, you'll find the ticket counters. You'll also find lots of vending machines where you can buy train tickets. For trams and buses, you'll find another ticket counter. I'll show you this in a bit. When you walk the stairs here and you go straight up, you go straight to the tracks 1 to 6. These are the tracks that are in the old monumental part of the railway station, and these are actually all terminal tracks. Throughout the stations, directions are clearly given. This is all with the use of icons, but also written texts. The texts are all mainly in Dutch, but also French, English and German. because Belgium does have 3 languages. Below the stairs you'll find in the main hall of the railway station, you'll find lockers where you can store your luggage. And when you walk a little bit more to the back, you get up here. Actually, this should be called the main hall, or at least the modern main hall. At several locations at the railway station you'll find departure screens, as you can see here on your right, where you can check the timetable for trains. When you take the escalators here, you'll get to the tracks 1 to 3 and 4 to 6. These platforms are at the highest level of this railway station. On this part there is only one international train, and that's the train that's going to Lille in France. This is not a high-speed train, and as far as I know, and I travel by train for quite a long time, these trains do depart from track 1. But please check the timetable before you make this journey. I also did a trip report on that route. I really like how old the station looks over here. Well, yes, it is old, but the way they modernized it, it's really awesome. I'll show you more in a bit. Route information about trains is all clearly written at the beginning of the platform when you enter a terminal track, and at the platform when you go to a non-terminal track. Well, most tracks here are terminal tracks, but I show you the non-terminal tracks in a bit because my train also departs from a non-terminal track. As you can see here on the left, you'll find quite a lot of screens with information about departing trains in general in this railway station, and you'll find these screens all over the station. Between the tracks 1 to 3 and 4 to 5, you have a great view over the railway station. And let me play this really slow so I can explain some things to you. Here you'll find the tracks 1, 2 and 3, and here you'll find the tracks 4, 5 and 6. These are all terminal tracks. Below that you'll find another level, and this level doesn't host any tracks. This is where you find all facilities and also where you can enter and leave the railway station. There are several entrances and exits at this railway station. Actually, there are quite a lot of them. To explain more, let's move to this bridge over here. To give a good explanation, I also play this in slow motion. This was the point where I was just standing. As you can see here, below street level there's a whole lot more. The first lower level hosts 4 terminal tracks. On my left you'll find the tracks 11 and 12, and on my right you'll find the tracks 13 and 14. Below that you'll find 4 non-terminal tracks. On my left, track 21 and 22, what are the northbound tracks, and on my right, track 23 and 24, what are the southbound tracks. While cars in Belgium do drive on the right side of the road, trains do drive on the left side of the tracks. All trains that are heading to or coming from the Netherlands will depart from the lower platforms, so the platform numbers 21 to 24. Of course, you can reach all tracks with the stairs, but you also find escalators to reach all tracks. Apart from the escalators, you also find elevators from the main hall to all railway tracks. When you go up from the lower tracks to the main hall, you have a great view on the old station building. And when you get a little bit closer and you're standing in front of the tracks 1 to 6, this is even more stunning. Like I told you a little bit earlier, when you walk straight from the tracks 1 to 6 and you go to the front, you will get here in the beautiful station hall. On my left here you also find a restaurant, Le Royal Café. This place is also really pretty because I am here on a really early Saturday morning and we have something that's called the COVID-19 pandemic. It's pretty quiet here. Actually, because of these reasons, it was pretty quiet in general in the railway station. At the end of the tracks 4 to 6 you'll find the first class lounge. This is from the opposite direction of the railway station where you find Le Café Royal I just showed you, and Le Café Royal can be found at the end of the tracks 1 to 3. Personally, I don't know what kind of tickets will gain access to the lounge or if you just have to pay a little bit extra. You can also just work remotely from here. When you go down on the side of the railway station, you will go to the, something that's advertised in the directions that are given as metro. but actually it's more a tramway. Down here you'll find several vending machines where you can buy tickets. The tramway will go underground in the biggest part of the city center, so actually this is a kind of a combination between a metro and a tram. You'll find two stops near the central station. These stops are not being called Central Station. The stop where I'm at right now is called Diamant, and the other stop is being called Astrid. As you can see, before you enter the platform you have some line maps, so you know you're at the right spot. As you can see here, these are just streetcars that will go underground here. Route information is all very good indicated at the underground tracks, as you can see here. Time to go up and show you the last parts of the railway station. Of course, in the railway station you'll find lots of shops and also information desks, as you can see here. When you walk away from the main station hall and you stay on the ground level, you'll find a lot of shops and, well, facilities in general. When you're completely at the back and actually leave the station, the kind of mall will be extended. Well, most shops were closed at the moment I was here because it was pretty early. But actually I never knew that it was this big down here. I've been here quite a lot, but most of the time I just went into the city center by foot or I changed trains, so I stayed in the front of the railway station. Within this railway station you'll find a lot of shops, supermarkets, etc. There's nothing to complain about here. When it comes to the number of facilities, but especially when it comes to the architecture, I think Antwerp Central railway station is one of my favorite stations. I don't like to use terms of my favorite or least favorite railway station, but when I may use these terms, I think Antwerp Central station is my favorite railway station. By the way, on my left here you'll find another shop where you can buy tickets for local transport. This company is called L-trein and they do have their own shop, which is called the Lijnwinkel. In English this is called the line, and the Lijnwinkel means the line shop. I think I never ever spent so much time in a video about explaining the railway station. The trains on this route are absolutely not stunning, so I promise you I won't spend so much time on explaining the train in this video. This is my train coming in. Actually, this train started already a bit earlier in the railway station of Puurs, what is about 25 kilometers south from Antwerp. I waited by showing the train until I was in Roosendaal. The train terminates here and stands still for approximately 40 minutes and then goes back direction Antwerp and Puurs. What you see here is the first class. The first class comes in a 2x2 configuration, and you'll find power plugs on the side of the train. Near the power plugs you'll find a table, and below the table you'll find a small garbage can. The armrests on the side of the chairs can be put up and down, and all windows do have a sunscreen. Second class comes in a, well, I don't know exactly how to describe this. I guess a 2x3 or 1.5 by 2.5 configuration. Well, I guess it's supposed to be a 2x3 configuration, so it's a bit more cozy than in the first class. Just like in the first class, you'll find a table at the side near the windows, and below the table you'll find a small garbage can. You won't find power plugs here though. In the middle of the train you'll find a part where you can park bikes and wheelchairs. Right next to this you'll find the toilet for disabled people. The toilet looks pretty big though, as you can see here. These trains are pretty old by the way, but they have been refurbished. The toilet looks pretty clean, although I think it would look a little bit better if they would put the garbage can at the right place. For the rest, this is just the same type of second class as what I showed you before. The 3x2 configuration, or at least that's what I think it is. These are typical commuter trains, so you won't find the overwhelming space for your luggage. But of course, throughout the train you'll find the overhead luggage racks. Well, there isn't much more to tell about these trains actually. Like I promised in the introduction of the video, I also will explain on how you can buy cheaper tickets on this specific train. This actually mainly counts for when you're traveling for free in the Netherlands. So when you have, for example, a weekend off card or a student card. Or when you just live in Roosendaal. In that case, you can buy a 50% discount ticket for a return ticket when you're traveling in the weekends, for example. You can travel on a Friday and go back on a Saturday or Sunday, just whatever you prefer. You can only book this fare directly at the Belgian railway company. It really depends if this is a cheaper option for you or not. It really depends on where you live in the Netherlands and where you eventually go to in Belgium. For now, I will show you some views from the train between Antwerp and Roosendaal. When you're interested in the railway station of Roosendaal, I already did a trip report where I covered this railway station. You can see it in the description.
Goedenamiddag, van harte welkom van boord van deze lokale trein met eindbestemming Roosendaal. Dames en heren, wij houden vanmiddag nog halt voor u in het station van Antwerp van Antwerpen Noodoptokken, Ekeren, Sint-Margaburg, Kapelle, Heide, Kijkuit, Schotval, Gulder, Essen en Roosendaal onze eindbestemming. Dames en heren, uw binnen op uw
Rollercoaster on the run, we just begun. Grab my hand, it's half the fun, 'cause here it comes, oh here it comes, we know. Oh, we'll make it. Stand by friend, I'm here for you, you know it's true. Paint this down and sing our tune, we're spinning through, we know. Oh, we'll make it. The sky is our limit now. We'll take this dance to the clouds. Blue skies in our eyes, it's our time to aim high. The sky is our limit now. We'll make it. Taking chances, never looked this good before. We breeze through this revolving door, 'cause this is just what friends are for, we know. Oh, we'll make it. The sky is our limit now. We'll take this dance to the clouds. Blue skies in our eyes, it's our time to aim high. The sky is our limit now. We'll make it. We'll take this ladder up together. Your smile makes the universe much better. We'll take this ladder up together. Your smile makes the universe much better. The sky is our limit now.
So I hope you liked this video. When you like it, please give me a thumbs up. And of course, subscribe to my channel when you like to see more trip reports or train related videos in general. See you on my next video.